In the scorching desert of 636 AD, two empires stood on the brink. On one side, the mighty Byzantine Empire, the heir to Rome, led by Emperor Heraclius, a man who had stared down the Persian Sassanids and won. On the other, the nascent Rashidun Caliphate, a new power surging out of the Arabian Peninsula, fueled by faith and ambition. Their collision point? A dusty plain near the Yarmouk River, a battle that would not just decide a war, but would redraw the map of the world forever. This is the story of Yarmouk, a clash of titans where strategy, faith, and the very elements would determine the fate of the Levant. The Byzantine Emperor Heraclius was no stranger to warfare. He had just concluded a grueling, decades-long war with the Persians, reclaiming vast territories, including the holy city of Jerusalem. He was a celebrated hero, the savior of the empire. But as he celebrated his hard-won peace, a new storm was gathering in the south. The Arab armies, united under the banner of Islam, had begun making incursions into his southern provinces of Syria and Palestine. Initially, these might have seemed like mere desert raids, but their frequency and success soon became impossible to ignore. Heraclius, from his headquarters in Antioch, knew this was a threat he had to crush, and crush decisively. He began to assemble one of the largest imperial armies seen in generations, a multinational force drawn from every corner of his vast empire. The Byzantine army was a formidable machine. It was composed of Byzantines, Slavs, Franks, Georgians, and Christian Arabs. At its head was a council of generals, including the emperor's own brother Theodore and the Armenian commander Vahan. Their plan was simple in theory: use their overwhelming numerical superiority to corner and annihilate the smaller Arab forces. Estimates vary, but the Byzantines likely fielded an army of well over 100,000 soldiers, a truly colossal force for the era, confident that their sheer numbers and professional training would sweep the desert warriors from the field. They were the established power, the defenders of civilization against what they saw as upstart raiders. Facing this imperial juggernaut was a much smaller but highly motivated Arab army. They were initially scattered across Syria in 4 separate corps. Recognizing the danger of being defeated in detail, the Arab commanders, including the respected Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah, agreed to concentrate their forces. But they needed a leader, someone with the audacity and tactical genius to face down the Byzantine behemoth. That's when Caliph Abu Bakr made a game-changing decision. He dispatched his finest general, a man whose name was already a legend, Khalid ibn al-Walid, the Sword of Allah. Khalid's journey to Yarmouk is a legend in itself. He was stationed in Iraq, fighting the Persians. To reach Syria in time, he didn't take the conventional route. Instead, he led a small detachment on a perilous, lightning-fast march straight through the unforgiving Syrian desert. This desert storm was a feat of endurance and navigation that stunned his contemporaries. They navigated by the stars, survived on minimal water, and emerged from the wasteland like ghosts, arriving just in the nick of time. Khalid's arrival electrified the Muslim camp. He was a master of mobile warfare, a brilliant tactician who had never lost a battle. Under his de facto command, the fragmented Arab army was unified, their morale soared, and they prepared for the ultimate confrontation. The two armies finally met on the plains of Yarmouk in August 636. The battlefield was a triangular piece of land, bordered by deep ravines on two sides, limiting maneuverability. For 6 days, the fate of the Levant hung in the balance. The first few days saw a series of brutal, often indecisive clashes. The Byzantines, with their heavy cavalry and infantry, pushed hard, trying to break the Arab lines. Vahan, the Armenian general, launched powerful assaults, and at times, the Muslim lines buckled and bent under the sheer weight of the imperial charge. During one critical moment, the Byzantine left wing nearly broke through the Muslim right. It was a moment of crisis. But Khalid ibn al-Walid was everywhere. He was the ultimate troubleshooter, a whirlwind of action on the battlefield. He commanded his elite mobile guard, a cavalry force he had personally trained, with devastating effect. Whenever a section of his line was in danger, Khalid would lead a charge, plugging the gap, repelling the enemy, and stabilizing the front. He used his deep understanding of cavalry tactics to outmaneuver the larger, more ponderous Byzantine formations. He wasn't just directing from the rear, he was in the thick of the fighting, his presence a constant source of inspiration for his men and a terror to his enemies. His ability to react instantly to the changing tides of battle was the key to surviving the initial Byzantine onslaught. The turning point came on the sixth and final day. A thick sandstorm, a familiar phenomenon to the Arabs but disorienting for the Byzantines, kicked up from the south. Khalid seized the opportunity. He knew this was his moment. He had reorganized his army overnight, concentrating his best cavalry for a decisive blow. As the dust swirled, obscuring vision and stinging the eyes of the north-facing Byzantines, Khalid launched an all-out assault. His cavalry slammed into the Byzantine left flank, shattering their formations. Chaos erupted in the imperial ranks. The multinational army, already suffering from internal divisions and low morale after days of fruitless fighting, began to collapse. What followed was not a retreat, but a rout. The Byzantine soldiers, blinded by the sand and panicked by the ferocious cavalry charge, broke and fled. But Khalid had anticipated this. He had sent a cavalry detachment the night before to capture the only major bridge behind the Byzantine army, cutting off their main escape route. Trapped between the charging Arabs and the deep ravines of the Yarmouk, the once mighty imperial army was annihilated. Thousands were driven over the cliffs to their deaths. The casualties were catastrophic. The professional army that Heraclius had spent months assembling was effectively destroyed in a single day. When news of the disaster reached Heraclius in Antioch, he was devastated. The emperor who had defeated the Persians had been humbled by the desert warriors. Realizing that Syria was lost, he prepared to withdraw to Constantinople. His legendary last words as he left the province were filled with sorrow. "Farewell, a long farewell to Syria, my fair province. Thou art an infidel's now. Peace be with you, O Syria. What a beautiful land you will be for the enemy." The Battle of Yarmouk was over. The gates to the Levant were wide open. Within a few short years, Jerusalem, Antioch, and all of Syria would fall under Muslim rule, followed by Egypt. Khalid ibn al-Walid's tactical brilliance and the unwavering resolve of his army had not just won a battle, they had changed the course of history, marking the beginning of the rapid expansion of the Islamic Caliphate and forever altering the balance of power in the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next historical adventure. Let us know in the comments which epic battle you'd like to see us cover next. Until then, stay curious.